what to do when you encounter an individual with, as he says, a lot of ego. He has used two words, high ego and bad ego. Let's understand this. When you use the term bad ego, you necessarily mean that there is something called good ego as well. Correct? Logical? If there is something called a bad ego, there ought to be something called a good ego as well. What is this ego? And can it have these two varieties, good and bad? What is this ego? And can it have these two varieties, good and bad? What is the ego? What is the ego? I need someone to get up and just say a sentence on it. Yes? Alright, Vineet.
So, ego is when you put yourself above someone. Means you think yourself as much more than other.
Is that the ego? You putting yourself above someone? What if you necessarily put yourself below someone? What if you are habituated to saying that I am the worst of all? You see, your conditioning and culture have told you that when someone says that I am best of all, you immediately say that this fellow is egoistic. I am asking you, what when someone says I am the worst of all, is this not a statement of ego? Is this not a statement of ego? A common misconception that many of us have is that ego is pride. Right? You very frequently equate ego with pride. Let's be very clear on that. Ego is far more than pride. Ego is far more pervasive than pride. Ego is not merely pride. Ego expresses itself in 1,000 ways other than pride. The ways of the ego are very subtle and they have to be seen everywhere. You do not keep expressing your pride every time. Your mind is not filled with thoughts of pride every time. But even the other thoughts that you carry, most often are thoughts of ego. Now, what is this ego? Whatever you have taken from outside and just internalized is ego. As simple as that. And this is the most direct and the most simple definition of ego that can be given. Everything that you have taken from outside and internalized, attached an I with it. To internalize is to attach an I with it. Everything that you hear from outside, everything on the outside that you get attached to, all your beliefs that come from outside, all your identities that come from outside. Ego is the sum total of all of this. Ego is the sum total of all of this. In the world of the mind, in the language of psychology, ego is very much a technical word. You see, a person who has not read science would often use terms of science in very inaccurate ways, right? He may be confused between what is voltage and what is current, and he may just mix up the two expressions. But that's not what a student of science or an engineer would do. He would use the language of science in very, very exact way. Similarly, the word ego has to be used very precisely, very exactly, very accurately. Are you getting it? It is a layman's mind that equates ego with pride. No. Ego is a technical word, and when I say technical, all I mean is that it has a precise meaning. It has to be understood. Because unless it is precisely understood, it will not be useful to you. And nothing matters if it is not useful. It has to be useful. Otherwise, we are wasting our time. If there is no utility, no use. So, ego is this internalization, this sense of I am. This sense of I am. Now, what all do we take from outside and just internalize? I already mentioned some of them. I want a few of you to speak about it. Yes. What all do we take from outside and attach an I to that? You're getting the process? Are you understanding it? You take it from outside, but you attach the I to it. And this is the process of ego. What all do we take from outside? Give me a few examples. Compliments. Now, compliments coming from outside by themselves are not ego. When will it become a process of ego? When I is attached to it. Alright, wonderful. Now tell me, what happens when a compliment comes from outside and you attach an I to it? Go into it clearly. See what happens. A compliment comes from outside. You are brilliant. You are brilliant. And you attach I to it. Now what happens? What happens? What is the statement then? I am brilliant. Now, have you really known yourself to be brilliant? Is it your own discovery? Is it your own knowing? Somebody has just come over and told you that you are brilliant, and you have internalized it. You have attached I to it, and you have said, I am brilliant. Now this is the process of ego. To take it from outside and accept with your eyes closed. To not to apply intelligence to it. This is ego. Now do you see how deeply ego permeates our mind? Because most of what we think ourselves to be actually comes from outside. Give me a few more examples. What all comes from outside? Yes? Yes? Abuses and compliments. Alright. Two sides of the same coin. Besides that?
Identities.
Wonderful. Identities like?
The name.
Wonderful. And?
A way of doing something.
Nice. And?
A way of
When you say identity, that's such a potent word. Go into that. What all constitutes our identities?
a way of living, way of doing something.
So when you say father's and mother's name, could I say your familial identity? Could I say the community to which you belong? All coming from outside and you starting to believe that this is what I am. And this is an utter falsehood, because you never chose that identity. You never chose which country or which religion to be born in. It's an external thing. It has come to you. And instead of realizing that it is external, you develop a great identification with it. What does identification mean? Identification means I am this. And if this is taken away, I am nothing. Now how can you be something that has come from outside? You are yourself. You are not a sum total of external influences, are you? Are you a sum total of all external influences upon you? What's your name? Yes, Abhishek. Are we a sum total of all that we have borrowed from outside? No. We have an existence of our own, right? Even if everything external is taken away, that pure existence still remains. That is the only thing, the only entity which we really are. Ego means to forget it and to identify with the external. Ego means to forget it and to identify with the external. All ego is this forgetfulness. All ego is this lack of intelligence. Put bluntly, I could say all ego is just stupidity. Because lack of intelligence is stupidity, right? Now when you tell me, could there be good stupidity and bad stupidity? You said good ego and high ego. Could there be high stupidity and low stupidity? Is there something called a good disease and a bad disease? There is nothing called a bad ego. All ego is forgetfulness. That's the first part of the question. Second part, what do we do when we come across an egoistic man? What do you do? Beta, what do you do when you come across a diseased man or a madman? What do you do?
Avoid.
What do you do?
It depends.
Do you become like him? He is mad, so I must become equally mad. He is abusing, beating his chest, throwing stones in the air, tearing his clothes. I'll also do the same. Will you do that? How does a healthy man look at a diseased man? Two things. One, avoid being diseased yourself. That virus is contagious. Do you understand the meaning of contagious? What is contagious? It can easily come from that man to you. Ego provokes ego. Ego provokes ego. Have you not experienced it? Forgetfulness provokes forgetfulness. Stupidity provokes stupidity. First thing, see that you are not getting affected. Second thing, if possible, if you are really healthy and you have ensured that your own health is not at risk, second thing, try to help him. He does not deserve your anger. He actually deserves sympathy, compassion. Don't you see he is suffering? Don't you know that an angry man suffers? Don't you see that if ego is a disease, it surely leads to a lot of suffering in the egoistic man? But don't be too eager to help, because only a healthy man can help others. Don't be too eager to help. First thing is to preserve your own health. Because unless you are healthy, how can you help? Can a madman help another madman? No. Can a sleeping man help another sleeping man? No. You require someone awake to help a sleeping man. So first thing, avoid getting provoked. Avoid getting provoked. Let him perform a solo. Don't let it become a duet. You just watch. Just watch it. That is the only thing that will prevent you from being provoked. Just watch what is happening. Don't get involved. You understand the difference between watching and getting involved? Do you see that there is a difference? Yes? Watch what is happening. Understand. Not with hatred, not with fear, not with disgust, but watch just as an intelligent man does. How does he watch? He watches without prejudice. He watches keenly so that he can understand. Kids, you are all so young, and you have been very protected till this stage in your life. There was school, and now there is campus, and this campus will be there with you for another few years. This world is full of disease, and you will soon move out into this world. 2 years is nothing. And this question will become more and more significant as you encounter more and more disease. Because disease wants to spread. Disease wants to take you in its fold. You'll suddenly find that basic things, basic virtues like innocence, like simplicity, like directness are being threatened. It will be very important for you to not to get involved then. It's important even right now to not to get involved, to not to get entangled, but to understand like an intelligent being. And that does not mean inaction. When I say just watch, don't get entangled, that does not mean inaction. From your understanding, from your intelligence, will come just the right action, an intelligent response. There will be great energy in that, as much energy as befits a young man like you. There will be great energy in that. But that will not be the energy of a madman. That will be a well-directed, well-channelized, constructive, creative flow of energy. Whereas if you allow yourself to be provoked, if you allow the disease to come to you, there will only be a dissipation of energy. You understand dissipation? A general random loss amounting to nothing. Amounting to nothing. Are you getting it? Ego comes from outside. The more you come in contact with the world, the more susceptible you are to these outside influences, these external influences. That is the reason I said that the more you will move out, the more you will venture out, the more you will be at risk. Because ego is nothing but the outside acting upon you. Ego is nothing but the outside acting upon you. Getting it? Is this becoming clear? At least a little clear? Yes? This surely must be raising questions, doubt within your mind. Your responsibility is to inquire. I'm not sitting here to preach something. I have not come to convince you of something. This is not a lecture. We are talking, interacting. So whatever comes to your mind, please speak. Yes.
Sir, how is ego a disease? I find it a rather better way of exploring yourself, improving by observing your environment.
What's your name?
Anup Pandey.
Anup. See. Anup says it's not clear how the ego is a disease or how the ego is harmful. His query is, why can't we say that the ego is actually beneficial? Do I get you right, Anup? What happens when an external force acts upon you, when an external entity comes to you and you start identifying with that? Let's take an example, and that example has come from you. One of you said that to take a compliment from outside, and what was the compliment that we talked of? Yes, I am brilliant. To take a compliment from outside and then to internalize it amounts to ego. What is the danger? When we say something is a disease, all we mean is that it is harmful, very harmful. Disease, the word disease means dis-ease. Whatever takes away your ease, comfort, peace is a dis-ease. Now what is the harm in internalizing this kind of comment that I am brilliant when somebody has suggested that I am brilliant? My identity now is that I am brilliant. Who has given me that identity? Someone else. If someone else can give me that identity, surely he can also take it back. Now I have believed myself to be brilliant, but that brilliance is based on a comment by others. So I will be always afraid, because the same others can now declare to me that I am stupid. You see, I don't have any resistance. There are no gates. Anybody can enter and declare anything to me. First one comes in and says, you are brilliant, and I start believing that I am brilliant.
So there must be a fact that he says so.
The fact, right? The fact. Now the fact cannot come from outside. Where does the fact come from?
You must have done something that he's saying so.
And if you have done that thing, you know for yourself whether you are brilliant or something else. You do not require somebody else to come and say that. What is meant by fact? You use the word observe. Take these two together, fact and observe. What do you mean by a fact? A fact is that which is real, which is the truth. And you can know it only by yourself. It is not somebody's opinion. It is not somebody's opinion. To know it for yourself, that's how an intelligent mind works. That's what all your labs are there for. Have you ever wondered, why can't you just be taught the laws of gravity? Or those of electrostatics? Or those of optics? Why do you have laws? Why do you have labs? So that you can observe the fact, the truth for yourself without any intermediary. Nobody is telling you the value of gravity. You find it out for yourself, right? So you drop a ball from this height and you measure the time it takes to hit the floor, and using these observations you find it out for yourself. You do not depend on Newton that he said so, so it must be true. I find the fact out for myself. That is what is real observation, and that is what a young man must especially do. Find out the reality for himself using his own eyes, not depending on others, not borrowing what the world has been telling him, what the society has been telling him. I'll go and find out whether it truly is this way. Because I am intelligent. I am not just a dustbin in which everybody comes and throws his garbage. I'll discover, I'll explore, I'll know. And only in this knowing is there truth. Truth is nothing to be borrowed. Truth cannot be taken from someone. And if you have taken something from someone and assumed it to be truth, that exactly is called ego. To take it from somebody, just remember this, no truth is a truth unless it is your truth. And when I say your, I do not mean personal. I mean unless you have discovered it on your own. You see, ever since we were this big or this small, we have been told a lot of things. Parents tell us, and everybody's parents do, always speak the truth, respect the elders, be non-violent. You all are intelligent people sitting over here. Do you never wonder why the world is like this? Every kid is taught to be truthful. Every kid is taught to respect others. Every kid is taught to be nice to the environment. Every kid is taught to not to hurt others, to harm others. Especially here in India, non-violence is such a big value. Every kid is handed over that value. And still you have a world in which people are raping, stealing, killing, and are totally corrupt and afraid. Don't you see? It is because those truths have been handed over to us from somebody else. We have never discovered them on our own. We have never discovered them. And whatever is given to you from outside will be of very little use to you. Very, very little use. Unless it comes to you out of your own knowing, your own attention. Mama says, Beta sada sach bolo. The kid turns around. If the kid is a little sharp, if the kid is a little vital, little alive, not totally dead and dull and dumb, the kid will turn around and ask, Mama, why should I always speak the truth? And Mama has no answer. Mama does not know. Mama will say, because my Mama also told me to always speak the truth, hence I am telling this to you. And if the child persists in asking, he'll get a one tight slap. Don't ask me what is truth and why must one always speak the truth and whether it is worth it to speak the truth. Just speak the truth. Why? I don't know. Why? I don't know. And if I know, even if I do somehow put together a reason for speaking the truth, even that reason comes from somebody else. None of my own discovery. You want to live a life like that, a borrowed life? You want to live a life like that? You're getting it? There surely are facts. There surely are facts. But facts cannot be borrowed. Facts of life cannot be borrowed. They are to be discovered. They are to be found out. Do you see why the ego is a disease? Because it prevents you from finding out. Once you have believed in something, what is the need to find out? Till a very late stage, just till a few centuries back, the entire humanity kept on believing that the earth is flat. And that the sun moves about the earth. Now, was it such a difficult thing to find out? But how can people find out when they have already believed something? Believing is the enemy of knowing. Hence, ego is a disease. Because ego makes you believe in things that you have not found out, somebody else has given you. Ego will mean ignorance. Ego will mean that you keep believing that the earth is flat. Are you getting it? Yes?
So isn't it our duty to evaluate it before we believe it?
Yes. And how can that evaluation happen? Wonderful. How can that evaluation happen?
Self-reasoning.
Yes, yes, yes. But that evaluation cannot happen in the presence of belief. The moment you used another word earlier, observation. That's a better word than evaluation. Though you are trying to mean the same thing. This observation or this evaluation or assessment that you are talking of, that exactly is the function of the intelligent mind. To not to take anything on face value. To find out. And once you find out, the whole flavor of living changes. Then your decisions are totally yours. Then you do not enter into engineering because everyone else has told you to. Then you do not choose a particular stream because the society says that it is a good stream. Or because somebody in your neighborhood got a chance to go to Australia being in a particular stream. You will find out what you really love. Then you will not take up a job just because the society considers it prestigious to be in this kind of a job. Then only you will know the real meaning of what it means to love. Because if you are taking it from outside, there can be no love. And that is especially disgraceful for a young person. No love. Can you be told to love somebody? How many of you want to be told to love somebody? But this society is full of people whose love is dependent on external situations and various considerations, various external considerations, caste, religion, gotra, preferences of parents, economic status and whatnot, all external things, choice of livelihood, passions, hobbies, all being dictated by the external. How many of you want to live a life like that? And how many of you want to live freely in your own intelligence? Yes. How many of you think you are capable of that? Yes. Good. And what are the others afraid of? Don't you see that even this fear is coming from outside? You are not born afraid. Even this fear is coming from outside. Even this fear is ego. You have been told that if you try to fly too high, you will be shot down. So you are afraid. You have been told that if you try to fly too high, you will be shot down. So you are afraid. This fear is not real. Get rid of it. It's an unreal fear put into your mind by those who themselves are afraid. Only a fearful man tries to scare others. Only a fearful man tries to scare others. He himself is afraid.
Fear is helpful.
Yes. He's saying fear is helpful. Fear is very, very helpful. True. But in what sense? You discover that there is a snake close to you. And you jump up. And it's alright. That much is alright. But what if the snake becomes a permanent stain on your mind? A permanent mark? And wherever in your life you are about to sit on a chair, you are always looking around for snakes. You go to a Chinese food shop and you are wondering whether these are... What if that happens? Fear is wonderful, but only in the moment of danger, like a mirror. What is the difference between a mirror and a photographic plate? You see, a snake comes in front of a mirror, and the same snake comes in front of a photographic plate, and then the snake goes away. Will anything remain in the mirror? But what will happen to the photographic plate? A permanent image will be marked there. Fear is alright if your mind is like a mirror. Respond to the danger when it actually is there. When you are actually experiencing a physical danger, respond to it. It is alright. But most of us do not respond to real actual dangers. Our mind is carrying images of imaginary dangers, like a photographic plate, that once saw a snake and is now permanently afraid of snakes. Imagining snakes where there are none. That's how our minds become. Then fear is not useful, beta. Fear is very, very harmful. Extremely harmful. Others will use this fear to enslave you. In fact, you cannot be enslaved if you are not afraid. A free mind cannot become a slave to anybody. Yes, next question. Yes.
Sir, there is a kind of ego which motivates us.
There is a kind of
ego which motivates us. Isn't it good for us?
Right. Sit. He says there is a kind of ego that motivates us. Isn't it good for us? Your question is not complete. The fact of the matter is, most of our motivations come from ego. Most of our motivations come from ego. Not some part of ego that motivates us. What is a motivation? A drive to do something, right? A motivation, a motive, a desire, an end, something to be obtained. I'm saying most of our motivations come from ego. What does that mean? Ego is external, right? Ego is external. And if motivation is coming from ego, that means that the motivation too is external. There is something on the outside that is motivating us. Something on the outside that has told us to do something. That motivation is not mine. That motivation is not mine. Somebody else has shown me something and told me to do it. That motivation is a totally external motivation. There is nothing intrinsic, internal about it. Like a slave. He has been told to do something and he does it. What fun is there in that? What fun is there in that? There is a particular motivation which takes place not out of somebody's command or dictate, but out of my own understanding. Out of my own understanding. And that motivation is totally real. Find that out. Have you ever wondered, you see, why you feel motivated towards doing one thing at one point, and then suddenly after a few days or a few weeks, you start feeling motivated towards something else. The first thing holds no more attraction. You are no more motivated. I want to do this. I want to start gymming. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you go there and then you leave it. I want to pick up a hobby. You pick it up and leave it. A new semester starts, you take a resolution to study for these many hours, you are very motivated, and then suddenly the motivation is gone. Have you ever wondered why there is no perennial source of motivation in your life? The reason is simple. Your motivations all come from outside and hence go back to the outside. Someone comes, gives a very motivating talk to you, and you get motivated. But that someone cannot stay with you all his life. He will go away, your motivation will also go away. A new year comes and you didn't call it. It just comes on its own. The new year comes and you take a grand resolution and you are very motivated. Tomorrow morning I will go for jogging. You are very motivated. But the new year will go away and the jogging will also go away.